friends, welcome to my first video in my YouTube channel. On this video, we're going to talking about e-learning for ELT, especially 10 questions that given by my lecturer, Sir Herry Santosa. It is all about e-learning for ELT, how we prepare online course for online learning activity, because as a future teacher we have to prepare it. So without any further ado, let's move to the answer. Talk about what is online learning and explain also synchronous and asynchronous. For the answer for the first question is online distance learning activity that use internet as the facilitation to do the learning activity itself. So the teacher and student doesn't need to have a classroom to conduct their learning activity, because they can do the learning activity on online learning application. And there are two types of activity. The first is synchronous and the second one is asynchronous. Combination of synchronous and asynchronous is called blended learning. So you can do the activity inside and outside. Okay, for the synchronous is learning activity happen at the same time. It means that when the teacher give an instruction to the students, at the same time the students also get the information of the instruction itself. So it happened at the same time. And this activity is kind of face-to-face activity. So the teacher meet the students classroom, and just like the third one characteristic is usually happen in the classroom. So synchronous can be called as a learning activity that commonly we do in the classroom with our teachers. Okay, the second one is asynchronous activity that happen in different times. For the example is when we as a teacher live in California and our students school in Bali, then when we want to give them an assignment, we will give the assignment through the learning application, just like Schoology and Moodle. And the time when the assignment will be in the different times with the students' time when they get the information of the assignment. But even happen in the times is more flexible than the real-time activity, because they're using internet, so the students can access the online learning anytime, and they have a flexibility to find another resources on the internet and a good participation, because they have a lot of resources and a lot of time to do the learning activity. So we move to the second questions. The second questions is about what are the basic features of an LMS? Please explain. Okay, before we can give a short explanation as itself is the facilitation to conduct online. Okay, the first one is LMS, asynchronous learning activity. Asynchronous LMS usually has a syllabus because they have to explain clearly the contents of the learning activity. So this the base thing that must to have, because On this syllabus, we can plan the lesson material. And the calendar is about the due date of the assignments and also the course event that we attach. If we as a teacher, we attach to the learning management system that we use, and the name is announcement. When we give a course, an assignment, there must be an announcement first. So in LMS asynchronous, teacher announcements have to add by the teachers, and also course email to make the students easy to contact the teachers to have a discussion to the teachers. So of course, course email is very important. Okay, we're back to the other basic features of asynchronous LMS. Asynchronous LMS, there must be a lesson means that the content of the material that we have to attach on the online learning application that we use, and also discussion forums means that it's the section for us, the teachers and the students, to do to conduct the discussion. We can give a chance to students to be more collaborative, because in the key they could editing and knowledge that they obtain from another resources. Blog facilitates students to posting what they have learned towards the learning materials, and testing usually used to assess the students' work, so the students could know the grade and know the improvement of their skill. Okay, for synchronous LMS, the only the basic features on a live classroom or live meeting. Chat here is the interaction between the teacher and the students, but in the same time, even they conducted on the media chatting, but they conducted in the same time. So live classroom or live meeting means that the teachers and the students, even not in the same place, but they do live classroom meetings. So the online learning activity will be conducted the same time, just like when you use Instagram or Instagram live features. You will interact with all of your followers in the same time, even you are in the Bali and your followers in the California. And, okay, for the third is about a good introduction writing for one topic meeting. Okay, for the example of the introduction writing for one topic meeting, I choose paragraph writing course as my example. So on the slide we can see that here add some introduction to the course activity, what will the students learn later on, and an explanation of assignments that they will have to do, and last the closing. I put the due date of the assignment and explain them where they have to attach submit the assignment. As you can see, good introduction of online learning have to be concise and clearly enough for students understand the your instructions, and make sure that there are no long paragraph. So like my example, some sentences there I have to give little bit space so the students will easy to read it and get the meaning easily. So because if you put all of the space, they will easy to read and they will maybe they cannot understand your instructions. So a good introduction for the topic meeting have to be less or more like this. Okay, for the fourth questions is why online materials must be attractive? What elements are needed? Please give an example. Okay, why online materials must be attractive? Because it is not a face-to-face learning activity, so it's not easy for the teachers to get attention through the students' emotions because this is online learning activities. They didn't meet each other. So online materials that we use in online learning activity must be attractive to get students' attention. Because once the students pay attention to the learning activity, we can enhance students' motivation towards the learning materials. So the students will be have an interest to the materials and have a meaningful learning activity in the online learning activity. So if the students doesn't provide an attractive online materials, perhaps the students will get bored and doesn't give any contribution or participation to the learning activity. Okay, what elements are needed is layout, text, color, and graphic elements. Okay, I will explain one by one of the elements that needed to make an attractive media in online learning. First, layout. Layout must be organized regularly. The content must be organized regularly. So, if you didn't organize it in correct order, the students will be confused to your instruction and give a significant amount of space. So, just like my previous explanations that state that you don't avoid a long paragraph and make the paragraph into break down the paragraph into some sections so the students will be easy to read, and it's about significant amount of space and also sufficient space, and give a sufficient space to your lines, paragraphs, and don't forget to justify your sentences or your layout, your content, because if it's not in a good form or that's not good organized, it will make the students not interesting to the media and it will not be an attractive media. Okay, for these elements for make an attractive media is the text. You have to make the content logically organized, just like in the previous explanation. I said that we have to make a organized content, and types of font and size are readable by the students. If you want to make an attractive media, you don't have to choose a font that very unique and good looking, but just find fonts text that readable for the students, and the size is also readable for the students. If it's too small, the students can read it clearly, and if it's too big, it's also make the content more like just like a mess and doesn't attractive enough. And all caps are avoided. Avoided alphabets using caps lock when you type the instructions, because sometimes the students will represent the caps lock with like, usually like shout out to the students and ask them verbally, so avoid it all the caps. Okay, another element to make an attractive media is color and graphic element. In color, you have to choose a good color, but the color that you choose must be in purpose. Means that if you want to make a highlight on your subheadings to make the difference with the supporting details, you have to choose the correct color that appropriate to make the the difference of the topic, and have a good contrast. If it's not in good contrast, I think your media is will be not attractive, because if it's too bright, the students will be like, they will not read the instructions clearly because they distract with the bad contrast of the colors. And the other element is graphic element, is two categories between types of course elements. So the course have a lot of content, a lot of topic, and a lot of lessons. So to differentiate one another, you have to put a graphic element to differentiate it. For example, for the chapter 1, you're using some graphic element like flower maybe, or animal, because the chapter 1 related to the flora and fauna, and then the chapter 2 maybe is about body, and you make a graphic element that the graphic is about the body itself. So a small graphic only, and list items are separated by bullets or numbering. So if you have a list items, you have to separate it by bullets. Bullets are numbering. So if your instruction consists of a lot of sequence, choose numbering. But if it is not, then you can choose bullets for differentiate one another. For the fifth question is about explaining types of online learning activities and provide relevant technological tools for their types. Okay, sorry, maybe my friend will be had some segment in this slide, but I hope you can read it clearly. So the types of online learning activities is classroom function, and the tool that relevant to this activity is discussion. So because this forum discussion activity will be more engaged and interesting for the students, and using blog to the activity of journal writing, because in the blog we can post whatever our writing. So if the students we ask the student to write in an essay or a journal, so they can collect it compile it into their blogs, so they can make a journal writing. And wiki for shared knowledge base. We use wiki for shared knowledge base because in wiki we can easily to edit and add some informations, and also delete some information that we think that is not relevant to the topic. So wiki is very can make the students more collaborative. And testing quiz or quizzing for practice exercises. So in testing and quizzing here, the teacher will give a lot of assignment for the students, just like in the blank, multiple choice, and the others. And also, the tool of projects activity is multiple options such as work groups, wikis, blogs, or discussion forums. So you can make a presentation, attach your paper on your blogs, or you make a video presentation and you can discuss it on your discussion forums, just like that. And descriptive activities using PDF, podcast, YouTube, Google presentation as a tool means that all this activity we can use PDF, podcast, YouTube, Google presentation as the tool, as the facilitation for us to deliver the learning process. Okay, for the sixth question is about online discussion is one important element in online learning. Sometimes it may not work well. How does a teacher optimize the discussions? How does a teacher optimize the discussion? So if you want to make the students get involved to your discussions activity on your online learning, you have to make sure that your topic is real-world connection. So if you want to for example, if the topic is about regular verbs, so you have to make a connection to the real world when usually they use this grammatical rule for conversation in the real life. And the other things that you have to consider to make a good discussion activity is interesting media. So you have to make an interesting media. You have to use this. You don't need to make it. It's not a must, but you have to find interesting media, such as you can provide a picture to make they guess what kind of picture it is and discuss about it. The students will be enjoy the activity rather than you give them a word as a clue, and you ask them to guess and describe the word, and they will feel like, I think the discussion will be very boring this time. So make sure you have an interesting media, and you can make a bigger site. So you can make a site, separated your students into two big groups that maybe for the first group will agree to the topics and the second group will disagree to the topics, so they can have a good discussion because they will show their own argumentation towards the topic, and it will be very fun. And guidance, as a teacher, you have to give the students a good guidance, because you have to guide the students to have good discussions. You may give them a problem, a topic, and give a feedback from the discussion, and don't let them discuss it by themselves, because sometimes they need to guide, so the flow of the discussion will not out of the topic and stay in a polite way. Okay, our seventh question is, please provide an example of a learning resource that can be used to engage learners in online learning. Several types of online learning. I chose varying voices and perspectives as the example because they contain voices from the class, expert voices, which means that in voices from the class, the resource is from the teacher, can be the teacher. The teacher make the instrument and make the media by themselves, and also the students also have a role to give the resources. Maybe from the students format, they will ask to make a video presentation, but they have a certain rule that maybe the length of the audio, the video, and what topic that they have to explain in the video for if it's from students format. And the other is expert quizzes. So here expert quizzes have a three tabs. They are direct expert interaction, indirect expert interaction, and also expert audio and video clips. Direct expert interactions mean that the teacher invite a guest from the others, outside the classroom, maybe a teacher from another class, another country, to join the classroom activity and give their opinion as expert to the topic related. So maybe the teacher at first introduce the expert, the guest, and also after that they give the guest chance to explain the material by themselves. The guest by the guest. And indirect expert interactions means that the experts not directly get involved to the classroom, but they are indirectly support the classroom activity. For the example, the teacher use another expert perspective to support what they just did to the students. But in expert audio and video clips, very common for us to use expert audio and video clips. Maybe we can download from YouTube. The expert upload a video and audio about some topic that related to what we discuss about, and we just download it, and that are the expert audio and video clips. So this varying voices and perspective increase students' participation in online learning. Okay, for the question is about an example of effective assessment in English online teaching and learning, and we can pick one or the integration of more than one language skill. Okay, my example of assessment is class discussion and class participation, because most of online activity is about discussion and participation. And this is the example of presentational rubric. So if your students, you ask the students to make a presentations. So here you can assess them just like here, like his, because but don't forget to make sure that your rubric or the content of the rubric itself is related to your learning objectives. Then the students can trying to achieve the goals, and also you will be easy to assess them. Here we can see the point that teacher can assess to assess the students' participation, frequency of participation in class, quality of comments, and learning skills. Here are the descriptions. Here are the standards. Okay, for the next question, so what are the basic elements to consider when building an online course? Please explain. Okay, basic elements to make an online learning is, the first is learning outcomes. Here, the outcome must be measurable and specific one, clear and given explanation, and related course material. And the second one is online syllabus. Even it is online learning, we have to attach online syllabus. We have to make the students know what the syllabus that we use in this learning activity. So syllabus must be clear description of a course, has communication strategy. They communicate the strategy. The syllabus could communicate the strategy that used during the learning activity, and also the guidelines, participations, detailed course outline is have to be data specific, like in the learning outcomes, and also technical requirements as well. There is the course outline. The course outline must be very specific because it is content of the lesson sections that already break down from the syllabus, and also from course outline to lesson. So the lesson will be in here. It will be more specific, just like what is the activity and what is the learning objective each lessons. Okay, here I want to show you the example of online course syllabus and also course outline. Here is the example of syllabus. So here the introduction of the lecture and the name of the course, required course tags, the book, the sources, course description, rationale, basic competence requirements, the requirements that we already talked about before, course teaching goals, also course learning objective, and move the course outline. And the course outline is a little bit same with online course syllabus, but it's more specific to the lesson section that already break down from the syllabus. So here, and in additional, they put assessment and evaluation also they have procedure and instructional methods. Okay, for the last question is about an example of one online lesson in class for one meeting. Okay, here the example of online meeting for TFL course. So my lecturer is Mrs. Ratminingsi in this course. They teach us about teaching English for foreigners, and usually she does blended learning. So at the first meeting we have on-site learning, and the second meeting we do online learning, and so on. We do a blended learning activity. They have a good implemented to blended learning activity here. So in online learning, Mrs. Ratminingsi choose Schoology as the learning management system as the application for us to conduct the online learning activity. Here the example for one meeting in our online learning is about EFR terminology and criteria of good teacher. So here they put the title of the topic, and they attach the due date of the assignments. They usually only use the Schoology for submit the assignment and discuss the assignment that we submit. So here they put a introduction, but I think it's the instructions. They go to the point of the instruction that she does have to do: submersion of ESL, EAL, difference of ESL, 7 criteria of the teachers, 5 competence of teacher. Please kindly attach your work here. Thanks. So here they also give a short closing. The other pictures is the sections that we need to discuss what we submit before. So here the due date and the topic title, still EFL terminology and criteria of the teacher, but in different due date, and they also give a short instructions for us to conduct the discussions in comment sections. Here the closing from Miss Ratmi. Okay, I think that's all about the example. Finally, thanks for watching my video. I'm sorry if my explanation is still not clear enough. Thank you so much.